Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm trying to not wear any makeup until I do my tutorial because I want to do a full face tutorial, I think. It may just be the eyes just because I am out of foundation, like completely out and I have no replacements. Not like everybody else on YouTube who likes to have a bajillion foundations to go through just because I know that foundations don't have the lengthiest of shelf lives amongst all the rest of the makeup we have that we can have in our collection. So I try to use just one foundation for however long I can have it, and that's it. I don't try to buy multiple ones because then I find myself never using them. This month I really wanted to zone in on products that I knew I wasn't using. So last month, all of last month, I switched up my normal routine and incorporated a lot of new product that I really was not using in my collection, which I hate doing. So, you're gonna see a whole new selection of makeup that I've been using. The only thing that stayed the same would be one palette, but it's because it is like my go-to like crease color palette. So, yeah, but everything else is pretty much brand new. So, I'm super excited for it, so let's just get started. So, I'll go ahead and start with my foundation of the month. So, I just now, not now, but just recently I finished up my Maybelline Superstay Better Skin Transforming Foundation. I was sent this by Style Hall and Maybelline, and when I first got it in, you guys know I did a review on it, like a mini like pre-review of it, and I gave this thing the worst review ever because the way it looked on my skin when I applied it with a beauty blender looked awful. I then tried a different method of application and I tried it with my e.l.f. stipple brush and I loved it so much more when applied with that brush. So I love how full coverage this foundation is. That's one thing I will give to it. I don't know, I can't tell you that it really transformed my skin in any way, shape, or form. I wouldn't recommend it for people with oily skin. It is oil free, but I feel like it does have like a shine to it that don't like that much. That's why I go through with my powder, my translucent powder, and I'll mattify it after I'm done. But for the most part, it's a very good foundation, very long wearing, excellent coverage. So I will be repurchasing this foundation with my own money when I go to the store tomorrow. The next thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was the Wet n Wild Color Icon Contour Palette. I picked this up, I want to say about the beginning of last month, and ever since then, it has been my go-to contouring shade of all time. I have a bunch of contouring shades, but this one is the one that I've been using the entire month of November and well into this month of December. I'm not so fond of the highlight. It's a beautiful highlight color, but I feel like it doesn't really show up on my skin, which I do not like. I don't know if that's weird. Maybe it is, but I feel like I can't see it when I apply it. I actually started using this to set my under eye concealer, and I actually like that a lot better. One of the screws just popped out of this bitch. But I love the color of this contour just because it looks so natural when applied to the skin. It looks like what a natural shadow would look like on your skin. So love, love, love this. I found mine at my local Walmart in the Wet n Wild section all the way at the bottom with all the face powders. Check there if you have not found this already, but I'm telling you, you need to find this because it is honestly the best contouring shade I have in my collection. We're going to go ahead and stay with the facial products. So I'm going to go ahead and do my highlights next because that's pretty much the only other skin product I have at this moment when it comes to facial products. So the first one is the So Susan Statement Skin Highlighting Crayon in Candlelight. I got this in my BoxyCharm box a couple months ago and I've been loving it ever since I used it then. I haven't put it in a favorites video because I was trying different ways to apply it and I figured out that the best way, and it's right here, to apply this highlight is just with your finger, believe it or not. I will just blot it on from the stick and then blot it with my finger and it creates the most beautiful, natural looking highlight ever. When I want to accentuate this highlight, I will go in with my Ofra Derma Mineral Powder Pink Sapphire. This is a super, super, super pigmented, very, very glittery shade. I don't know if you guys can see it. I'll put a close up for you guys right now. Product is super, super pigmented, and I love how gorgeous this looks on top of the So Susan pencil because I will layer both of these. They're both right here actually. This is the Ofra powder and this is the So Susan pencil. If you've not tried an Ofra product, I highly suggest getting their Derma Mineral powder in Pink Sapphire. I'm not sure if there are other shades. I really don't know, but I would assume there would be, but definitely love this powder. This is in Blue Had Me at Hello, and it is actually a discontinued palette. I found mine at my local Dollar General, and it was in a kit for $5, and it came with a Color Icon kohl eyeliner pencil, which I love those. I live for those pencils. It also came with a box of lashes from the company, so it was a very good deal for $5, since these alone, at least at my local like Walgreens and CVS and that kind of stuff, are almost $4 on their own. If you're a collector of Wet n Wild palettes like I am, I love them. Definitely check out your local Dollar General for this palette and this kit. The last Wet n Wild product I have is actually a single, and this is in the shade Panther. This is a matte, a true matte black. It is the blackest black I've ever seen in any drugstore palette. And the reason I picked this up was because I knew I was running low on my black Lorac Pro palette, and I actually used all of it. I'm actually doing pretty good. This is also another favorite. Like I said, this is one of those palettes that I told you guys I was putting in here strictly because it's definitely one of my go-to crease color shades. You can see I've hit pan on quite a few shades, so I'm using the crap out of this one a lot. But I bought this single eyeshadow from Wet n Wild because Kathleen Lights actually suggested it and said that it was a perfect dupe for the black that was in Lorac Pro palette, and I actually used all of it. I'm actually doing pretty good. This is also another favorite. Like I said, this is one of those palettes that I told you guys I was putting in here strictly because it's definitely one of my go-to crease color shades. You can see I've hit pan on quite a few shades, so I'm using the crap out of this one a lot. But I bought this single eyeshadow from Wet n Wild because Kathleen Lights actually suggested it. So if you have not tried these single eyeshadows from Wet n Wild, do try. That is the blackest black I've seen ever. Every month I always feature a ColourPop eyeshadow because I've been trying to use one each month just to get through all of them, and this month's has been Coconut. This is the prettiest, most turquoise-y blue ever eyeshadow. It is the perfect blue. You guys who know me know that I'm obsessed with the color blue, and when I saw this one on the ColourPop website, I could not resist getting this. If you've never tried a ColourPop eyeshadow, you are truly missing out on a gem. Like, I just swatched that and I still have a full swatch on my finger. These are super pigmented, hyper pigmented, and so incredibly long wearing. Quickly, I'm going to go through the two palettes besides the Lorac Pro palette that I've been using the most this month. The first one is the Dark Rose palette from BH Cosmetics. I did a huge haul when I was still in Florida around April of this year, and this was one of the palettes that I was super excited to get in, and I have been using it non-stop, especially for these blushes and this one purple shade right here. When I first saw this palette, I was not really sold on the idea of how random the selection of colors were, but once I got to using it, I realized they did a pretty good job of putting the colors that you could use all in one row together. I've used this row right here together as a full look and it looks gorgeous. I've actually used this one and this one as well. I don't know if you guys have me on Instagram. If you don't, I'll link mine down below. But I've been using the crap out of this also BH Cosmetics palette, the 88 color palette, and it says matte eyeshadows. I don't know what they mean by matte eyeshadow palette because there's definitely not all matte eyeshadows in this palette. However, this has been my go-to full color, really bright neon color palette for the month. So I love how all-inclusive this palette is when it comes to color selection. You have your nudes, you have your taupes, you have your blacks, you have your browns, your brights, your neons, your romantic pinks and purples. You have such a beautiful array of colors. So if this is something that you're looking for, especially if you're a beginner makeup artist, or if you're someone who just wants to get into makeup but you don't want to have a whole collection full of a bunch of different eyeshadows, you want to have one thing that has all colors in one, this is an excellent option and it's so inexpensive. Totally just jammed this into the table. But go ahead and swatch this green because I'm living for this green this month. Like, that is the most pigmented green, that shade green, that I've seen anywhere. For lippies of the month, I'm going to go ahead and start with the Balm. So I'm going to start with this Baby Lips. This Baby Lips is my favorite. It is one of the OG Baby Lips that they first came out with when they first created the Baby Lips line. This is in Quenched, and it is my favorite, all-time favorite baby lip product. I love how actually quenching this is to my lips, especially when they're a little bit drier. I bring this with me everywhere. I actually have two tubes, one for home and one for my purse, and I always make sure I have it with me. I find that this leaves such a really comfortable, balmy feeling to my lips, and it doesn't dry out for shit. Next up is definitely a surprise for me, but I've been loving this pencil so much. This is the LA Colors Chunky Lip Pencil. There's no color to it, no color name to it, but it is this beautiful, like pinky mauve shade. Like, it's definitely a nude shade, but it is actually a very, very creamy product. I was very surprised when I first tried it out. It is definitely a very nude lipstick, but it has some depth to it, so it doesn't look like you're completely washed out. Next up, I have two products from NYX, and they're both lippies. One is the Intense Butter Gloss in the shade Black Cherry Tart, and the other one is the NYX Simply Vamp lipstick in the shade Temptress. If you've never tried the Intense Butter Glosses, you are missing out on an experience that will change your life as far as lippies go. These are super, super balmy. So full color, so long wearing. There really isn't anything better than having those three components in a lippy. I absolutely fell in love with this one especially. It's so gorgeous and beautiful for an everyday fall or winter lippy. But this is actually an exact dupe for NYX Transylvania. So if you can't get your hands on Transylvania, look for these because this is pretty much the exact same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and swatch it. And it's right there. It's absolutely stunning. So creamy, very long wearing, but it doesn't give you the gloppiness that a gloss can actually give you sometimes. Alright guys, so for the end of the month, I'm going to go ahead and just throw in a dud for me. So everyone and their mother went nuts for this mascara when it first came out, and I gotta say, I was on board of that train when everyone was going nuts. I was super excited to try it out because I'd seen so many people apply it, and it looked gorgeous on them, but I feel like this is one of those things that works for other people, but not for me. This is the Super Sizer Mascara. This is the waterproof formula. I'm not sure if it's the formula that fucked me over, or if it's just the mascara as a whole, but I found this made my lashes very, very clumpy. I would find little black splecks on my cheeks. It was that clumpy. I hated it. So I will not be repurchasing this. I'm just not a fan of it. I also have an extreme holy grail favorite of the month as well to end this completely on a good note. So the one thing that I've been using the most this month, actually for the past 2 months, that has really transformed my skin has been the Neutrogena Pore Cleanser and Mask. I love it so much that I literally cut the top off of it to get the excess product around the tube, just so I could use all of it because I love it that much. This is an excellent, excellent, excellent preemptive strike product when you have problems with problematic skin. As you can see, right here is my biggest problem area, and you can use this two ways, as a cleanser or as a mask. So you can use this as a cleanser every day, morning and night, or if you want something more of a dramatic, very, very intense mask, you can do that too. And I promise you, either way, you feel like your face is actually clean. I love this product, and it is one of the best face products I've ever used on my skin. So I'm dubbing this my lifetime holy grail. I will never stop using this, and I've actually got a couple of extra bottles in my cupboard in place of this. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys. See you guys later.